Hi guys. Well, it's been forever, but my campaign finally starts. After months of planning, working, and all that stuff. I'm already with the ums. You know what that means? Serious time. So first we meet our heroes. They are in a cabin. War wounds tended to. Kind of a soft start in my opinion, like most people usually do. You know, not necessarily everybody meets in the cabin, or not in the cabin, but like in the tavern. They meet each other in a cabin, naked. War wounds tended to. Their gear cleaned and ready for them at the entrance. But I guess I should explain the characters first. We have Miles, a Technomancer from a desert region, with his handy little ray gun and crossbow. There's Hela, a necromantic summoner from a very, I guess you could say wild area, a wild nation. And then there is Shrykull Apoco, a blood mage from Altus, where the campaign is starting from. They've one second. There we go. They wake up to find breakfast ready for them at the table. Mist, sprinkling mist, pattering against the window. They eat their breakfast of warm chicken, poached eggs, and some bread. Nothing too fancy, you know. I thought they were gonna get dressed first, but no, they ate dinner naked, which was interesting. Quick little thing. You know, they start talking to each other. It was kind of a rough thing. Felt, in my opinion, at least a little rushed, but they were trying to get their characters to make a connection. Then they open the door and they see I describe the scene, you know, lush, dark green grass, rolling hills, vast forests, the far off intense battle far off on the eastern horizon, from where their last memories before they blacked out and were brought to this cabin were. Off in a little bush, they hear the rustling of leaves and twigs. Hela, the wolf Necko girl, because there are Anthros in my game. She goes over and peers into the bush, and there's whimpering and struggling is a little red fox who had its neck entangled in a snare, slowly getting it choked and cut into it. The summoner binds it, making it one of her summons. Her first official summons. She has her familiar, and now she has a summons. They talk some more. Then they hear the faint screaming of a woman in peril. So they go and rush to aid the damsel in distress, where they find Catherine, the cat Anthro girl who had been taking care of them, who was heavy with her first child. She was propped up against a tree giving birth. So, there's that. They start talking about what they should do. Should they help her give birth there? Do they need to go rush her to the town? Do they need to take her back to her cabin? Then they hear it. A high-pitched, ghastly scream of a wail emanating from the forest. They look and they see these shadowy figures sort of lumber towards them, and like a inhuman fashion, like they were dolls or mannequins or something. Not quite alive, as it were. And as these figures grew ever closer to our heroes, the mist turns into a fog, and a wind rushes towards them. It is now initiative. Shrykull, the Blood Mage, who is played by the Crimsonpit, rushes to one side of the tree to block it, and engages with one of these shadowy figures immediately. Then Hela, who is played by a friend named Brian, goes to the other side, who also engages with one of these shadowy figures. No one has really landed a hit yet, but when they're engaging with these things, they don't seem 100% solid. Like, it's not flesh and bone they are fighting. Then Miles, who is a fox Anthro, fires a bolt from his crossbow into one of these creatures, and they hear a dull thud as it connects with the creature's shoulder. Needless to say, there's it's hard to go through all of it, but they're struggling. The creatures are dodging, the players are dodging. When they're landing, they're not landing very heavy hits. Then, during Miles' turn, he pulls out his ray gun, which is a very unique weapon for where he's from, and fires a beam of fire at this thing. It dodges, but as the beam passes, it shows their true figures, and they are a scarecrow. And all these scarecrow just turn their eyes towards Miles and deadlock him with glowing hatred eyes, and they all in unison just do this really loud roar of a wail. And then he's like, help. And then it's their turns, and now they're starting to try and disengage with the other two players to go after the one that shows that they have fire on them, essentially. And it's the battle was epic, guys. Truly epic. at least from from theater of the mind perspective. No one could really land a solid hit on either side for very long. And there's a lot of these guys. As they take one down, there's three. The next wave of these things is starting to come into view, and then they're like, "Oh God, there's more! There's more!" And then they take down another one. But by the time that they were getting that one done, another wave is coming, and they're starting to get overwhelmed by the sheer numbers. There's essentially two on each of them now. And then Miles fires a ball of fire and hits one, does splash damage. They're starting to make headway. He moves and to engage with another one and protect Catherine, the cat Anthro woman, who is giving birth right then and there, leaving one behind them. And on their turn, it moves past them towards the pregnant woman and attacks. I did not tell them how much damage it did. I just told them that it did take its claw and rake it across her belly. Then Hela, when it is her turn, takes her staff, starts grappling with the thing, like struggling to throw it and pull it off of the pregnant woman. They're all struggling. They're all frantically fighting. He's using his the fox to like deal its magical flame damage that it has. Like, I wish I could show you guys the recording, but unfortunately the audio is shit. Like, everybody's cutting out. The music that is supposed to be audible for everyone is not even a whisper. I had that thing all the way up, and like, you cannot hear it whatsoever. Like, there was a lot of things going on that make it essentially impossible for me to share the full audio. Mainly because there was a storm in Skype and my recording just kept cutting out, and we're having to restart it. But anyway, like, they're dwindling down. One of them catches on fire and starts setting the forest on fire, so the scarecrows are starting to panic while the players are trying to move the woman giving birth. And like, they're on the last wave of these scarecrows who have done a little bit of damage. I mean, at this point, I think only one of them was down by like 20% of their max health or so. Like, no one was really landing any solid hits on either side. And then comes the big bad boss, who was still a scarecrow, a slightly taller scarecrow, but this one had a weapon, which was a sickle. I know it's cliche, but it makes sense. And like, they're trying to rush her to the hospital, but because they're having to carry her and defend her from the scarecrows, it's a long trek off of the battle screen. And like, they're almost off. And then the boss leaps like a flea and cuts the distance by more than 2/3 of the way. And now the players are starting to panic because it's obviously a lot stronger. Like they're trying to attack and move the minions, essentially. And like, on the scarecrow's turns, it raises up its sickle and drives it right into the ribs of Shrykull, who was carrying the pregnant woman. He took a lot of damage from this thing. In the one hit, he manages to maintain his hold on her, though. Like, he keeps a hold on her. So Hela pulls out a grappling hook out of her bag, throws it, manages to catch it, and do a scorpion get over here thing, essentially. And like, pulls it towards her. And now it's engaged with Hela. And each turn, it's like attacking and moving for everyone, as the scarecrow is just tearing into Hela. Hit after hit is landing while it's dodging everybody's attacks, essentially. And then like, in one round, it dropped its health significantly. Then it started alternating its attack between Hela and Miles, with its sickle just digging into them. Hela at this point is at like 15 health. She's got a cut across her belly and one down her chest, another one going up the thigh and couple puncture marks. Like, the thing is just like carving her up like a Thanksgiving turkey. Miles manages to set it on fire, so it's taking fire damage at the end of each of its turns. It's down, it's almost dead. And with its last turn, it takes its sickle and just drives it into Miles's thigh as it bursts into flame and dies. At this point, the session was about 4.5 hours long. It was only supposed to be 4 hours long. So we had to rush the final scene a little, which I didn't really like doing, but we kind of had to. So, unfortunately, in my system, there's stamina. Shrykull had no stamina left, so he is unable to stand. So Hela picks up the pregnant Catherine, while Miles is carrying Shrykull into town. They meet a hunter, a bird hunter. Kind of a rushed dialogue, unfortunately, but like he essentially just takes Catherine and rushes towards town, the town doctor. And as the fog dissipates underneath the afternoon sun, they see as a vague, like as a quick description as I could possibly give, these black, dark green vines just entangling and ensnaring most of the town. Some buildings have been completely and utterly crushed. And that's where I ended the first session. And that was... It took me about 18 minutes to talk about that. Holy crap. And I feel like I was talking a mile a minute, but I'm a slow talker, so I could be talking normally to you guys. I don't know. Okay, so the players enjoyed it. They enjoyed it. Me as a GM, obviously I just saw the negatives. What could have been better, what could have been, worse, things to improve upon. I mean, it was what it was. I still like the fact that I started with scarecrows, honestly. A lot of people do kobolds or goblins or, something else, maybe skeletons, depending on their setting, but it's like, no, let's do scarecrows. Scarecrows are awesome. I was not planning on anybody getting that low on health, but hey, you have to swing with the punches. 15 health out of like 70, I think. I don't remember Hela's max HP, but it was something. Hopefully I'll be able to keep you guys updated on my campaign. Like, it looks like I might not be able to stream or record it effectively to the point where I would feel comfortable uploading the stream itself. So these little recaps are the best I'm going to be able to do, unfortunately. Yes, I hope you guys enjoyed what I just recapped for you guys. I know there are more charismatic GMs out there and YouTubers who could probably describe what I just did a lot more eloquently than I. I am, after all, a creepypasta narrator. I prefer doing things on the darker side, so charisma really, although should be something I am good at, I personally feel like I am not. But that will improve, hopefully. But for now, we are just going to see what happens next. Stay tuned.